Rotana is a leading hotel management company in the region with a presence across the wider Middle East and Africa. While the firm operates in 21 countries, its biggest market is the United Arab Emirates. The hospitality industry has been hit hard by the coronavirus, but what kind of recovery can we expect? Let's get out to Guy Hutchinson. He's the president and CEO of Rotana Hotel Management Corporation. Guy, it's great to have you on the show. Let's get straight to it. What is your outlook for the second half, and how concerned are you about these possibilities of a second wave accelerating?
Good morning. Great. Thank you for having me. I think it's best described as cautiously optimistic. We've certainly been hit hard from March, when really the impact of the virus was ramping up and hitting its peak. But now there are certainly green shoots, particularly in the UAE. We've seen some release of restrictions. We have restaurants trading and doing very well. And now we have all sorts of positive signs, with Dubai starting to open, staycations growing. So the outlook is a lot more positive today than it was 2 weeks ago.
Guy, what did you do with the over 10,000 people that work for Rotana? I mean, the other brands have had to furlough, have had to lay off, depending on what part of the world as well. What have you been able to do? From what I understand, that you were able to spare pretty much the whole workforce. What else do you have in the pipeline for those operational costs?
Perhaps we're a little bit different, is having that very localized focus as opposed to a global outlook on things. And yes, we've been very fortunate. We have an amazing team, and we've been very fortunate to be able to keep everything intact. We've not made any layoffs to date. We just focused internally to make sure that we made every effort to keep our teams employed. So we've built, lateral businesses. We've subcontracted colleagues. We've made every sort of macro and micro effort to keep everybody in their jobs. We're confident that the recovery was going to come. And we want to be very well placed. I think particularly with hospitality, your human resources, it's your absolute key. So we were very cautious not to lose any frontline talent, so that when the reopening comes, that we're going to hit our peaks fast, and hopefully faster than everybody else.
So how does that translate into a conviction view around finance and support in terms of cash flow? Are you looking to raise any capital as you begin to try and reopen on a bigger scale? What does your balance sheet look like? We're
still very strong. And our model is perhaps slightly different, because each hotel is almost an individual company. So we're managing, right now 80, 90 individual companies. Each one has its own balance sheet. Each one has its own dynamics. So each one of those individual businesses has to be positioned in the right way. The positive thing from our industry in particular is that in terms of ramp up, generally there's not much capital involved. What we need is travel to become accessible. We need confidence to return in travel. And then in terms of the activities that we need to undertake to ramp up, to get hotels back up to speed, from a sales, from a marketing perspective, there's not a great deal of capital required to do that. So no, there's no separate funding requirement needed to get our hotels up to speed.
Guy, there's a lot of debate around what this new post-COVID-19 reality looks like, and it doesn't matter what sector of the world we're talking about or what sector of the economy. How will it shift trends in the hospitality industry? How are you changing perhaps some of your priorities to prepare for this new environment, to make sure that you come out on top?
I think there's a short-term and there's a long-term view. The short-term is the kind of structured environment that you need to provide for guests and for colleagues, to give them that confidence to work, and give them that confidence to travel, and give that confidence to stay in hotels and dine in restaurants. And we launched our Safe Space program, which is all about communicating very, very carefully, very, very clearly to our guests and also to our colleagues, the detailed disinfection and cleaning processes that we have in our hotel, all the steps we're making sure that our hotels are safe to navigate, and then also the contactless services that are there that for people who want to have confidence, who want to pass through, who want low-risk environments, that we're able to provide that contactless journey through the hotels. So giving people, I think, in the short term, that real rock-solid confidence that hotels, restaurants are safe, and procedures are in place, and the disciplines are in place to maintain those procedures is critical. However, in the long term, it's rather bizarre for a hotelier to be promoting a contactless guest service. So that's not what we're about. We're a hospitality company, and the smiles and the welcome and the service is critical. So in the long term, we're very much looking forward to the day when we get to remove a lot of those experiences and return our businesses to normal.
Sure. I take your point, Guy. In terms of the expansion plans that you had before the COVID-19 came into play, are those still intact, the geographic priorities, or have you recalibrated some of that? Run me through it.
No, our pipeline remains as it is. At the end of the day, although it seems like an awfully long time, we started in March, in late February, early March, from an impact perspective in the region, and today we're going into mid-June, July, and we're starting to see the green shoots of recovery. So, hotels are built for 30, 40 years. So this is not 6 months. Although it's been phenomenal, it's been unprecedented, it's been horrendous, it's been tragic. But, we are very much seeing our long-term strategy continuing as it is. We'll pass through this, we'll navigate it, we'll manage it, and we'll emerge, we'll be strong, and we will continue with our growth story.
Guy, really thrilled we were able to get you on the show and give us some context on the ongoing reopenings. It's Guy Hutchinson. He's the Rotana Hotel Management President and CEO. Let's talk about JD.com.